hand up if you know your customer avatar like that. So you know exactly who you're speaking to. You know exactly how to present yourself online, what your branding is on point. I pretty much guarantee that 90% of you have not put your hand up. And there's a reason why. It's just something that you never really think about when you're doing all of your marketing, you're doing all the things, and branding is one of the last things that you think about. And it's one of the most important. So I invited on Christine of NOISEAWARE. She's head of growth. All right, without further ado, please enjoy this episode, this conversation with Christine of NOISEAWARE.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Christine, I work with NOISEAWARE, head of growth, and I'm actually in Dallas, Texas in the US. Yeah, I've been working at NOISEAWARE for about 4 years now and absolutely love it. And I'm excited to be a part of this.
So it all starts with knowing the target audience. So in just simplistic terms, please, if you could just break down what target audience means to you, and most of all, how do you explain to a host how they can go about discovering who their target audience or customer avatar would be?
I mean, I think early on, one of the things I remember most is we were like, we could market to anybody who has a short-term rental, but we have to figure out who the ideal customer is. And so there's certain characteristics that sort of make up the type of people that you're looking to actually target. So everybody's very different, but once you kind of figure that out, you're really then learning like as much as possible about those people and how you can specifically market to them and find them on the internet, which can prove to be difficult at times. But once you've identified it, you know exactly how to talk to them, what they like, what they don't like, and you can really kind of nail down some of your brand and your marketing, and it can be huge.
I like to think we know our customer avatar and our audience really well. We are on a farm in the middle of the North Yorkshire Moors. It is set up for a child-friendly property. We've got a play area, we've got baby lambs. We know already who the majority of our customer audience is. Say, for example, that you were chatting to a host and they were talking to you about branding. If I was in the middle of a city centre and it's not so obvious who your branding is, what sort of advice would you give on maybe trying to establish who that 80-20 is or who they're going to talk to most?
For what we did and what I think a host can do is sort of just start to find out like some similarities of some of the people who have shown interest in your property, because they probably have more people that are somewhat similar to them that are going to show interest. A lot of times, I mean, in the beginning days, like asking some questions, like how did they find out about you? Why were they interested in the property? Or even bigger, like what was their type of stay?
Can you let me know, and what everybody's watching, knowing what this means, and more importantly, how to work out what your why is?
The biggest thing in the beginning is figuring out really kind of what your core purpose is and what drives you to, build what you're building. There's something there. So there's kind of two things. I think there's the core value, like what do you want to provide, how you want them to feel, and then what drives you. Then those two things kind of come together and I think can really have you feel like you're explaining to people like, hey, this is why I'm doing it.
Is there any other little tidbits that you can give to people when it comes to researching? So simple little tactics and tips that we can sort of put into practice, and what really should you be looking, or what should we all be looking to learn at this part of our journey of discovering our brand?
Definitely. I mean, I think the most interesting thing is that social media and then obviously the internet is an amazing place. I think the biggest thing is there's always something you're striving for. You always are striving to be better and get your place better, whether it be your listing or anything. I remember when we were managing properties in Costa Rica, I was looking at, lots of different property management companies, and I was looking for ones that I was striving for, not ones that I thought I could be better than, but ones I was striving to be